So Swalwell kicking ass and taking names. Let me show you this real quick because this MS-13 photo needs to be addressed. And Swalwell asked Noem over and over about the doctored picture of Abrego Garcia's knuckles that Trump pushed because Trump literally thinks the MS-13 is actually written, not translated, not they put an M and an S and a 1 and a 3 over it so they could show what they think the tattoos mean. But literally, he thinks there's an M, S, and a 1 and a 3 on Abrego Garcia's knuckles. Let's be clear about that. They are not. They aren't. They are not. He does not have an M and an S and a 1 and a 3. You can argue about whether or not you think the tattoos on his knuckles mean that. But everybody in MS-13 is pretty overt about their membership. They have an M and an S and a 1 and a 3 on their person. They don't hide it for any particular reason. So, and they definitely don't have it added in a fucking standard font.
His time has expired. I now recognize Mr. Swalwell for 5 minutes of question.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. You have an important job. I think you have one of the most important jobs in the cabinet. Thank you for doing it. I want you to have credibility and be taken seriously as you do the job. And so I want to put to rest
hold on. I think
this question about...
I think that ship has sailed. I think the amount of filler in her cheeks and lips alone kind of punts the credibility in terms of Department of Homeland Security. If you can't keep Botox out of your face, how are you going to keep terrorists out of the country?
Mr. Garcia, in this photo that the president posted on April 21, Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
for the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have
with
credibility,
law enforcement.
and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not
Sir,
doctored?
I am taken quite seriously
Is it
because
doctored
I
or
approach my
not
job
doctored?
with the importance that the president has given me to do
I
my
understand.
job.
Is it doctored or not
One thing
doctored?
that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built...
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a
same
6-year-old, and a
protocols.
3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against...
Can you
Abrego
answer the
Garcia
question?
were
Also, can I say for the record, one of the other ways that Democrats could ask this question is who added the M and the S and the 1 and the 3 to this photo? Because we know they're not on his knuckles. They're not there. So asking if it's doctored or not, like, that's how she's weaseling out of this. She's trying to avoid saying that, which is fine. But asking directly, who in your department or in the White House, to your knowledge, put the M and the S and the 1 and the 3 on his knuckles? Because they are not there in reality. They weren't there in the original photograph. They are not there now. Nobody is removing tattoos in the prison in El Salvador. So what person is in charge of creating that imagery that taxpayer dollars were allocated to do this? And you have oversight over it in the House and in the Senate. So who, as part of their job, took this photo and put it in Photoshop and added an M and an S and a 1 and a 3 that are not there in reality? What person? Who is the person? Is there someone? And then she's like, if she tries to this way, like, is there someone I could talk to in your office who knows who this person is? We need to know the name of this person. Who did this? And who asked them to do it? Did you ask them to do it? Did you ask them to put an M and an S and a 1 and a 3 to explain this to the president because he was seemingly not understanding the pictogram theory?
the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take
don't,
her,
sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is, the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal. He's not a human trafficker, and he's not a member of MS-13.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when your team said, ma'am, you vouched for him when you said he was mistakenly deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say
in that
he
photo.
should have been deported. Absolutely.
It's
Way to go for it, Swalwell, by the way. And dropped a BS in the middle of this. And that's just become normal. I mean, what's next? We become the House of Commons where everybody just yells?
telling that you won't look at the photo.
And we will not be bringing
Was
him back
it
to
doctored or not?
in staying here. If
Can you look to your right at the photo in front of you? Madam Secretary, can you look to the right at the photo in front of you?
I have seen this photo as you held it behind your heads.
Thank you. And the letters MS and the numbers 13, are those doctored or not?
Testimony today is on a doctored photo. You don't want to talk about the facts?
All right, there you go. She admits it's doctored. Just take that and run with it. Okay, you admit it's doctored. Great.
The importance of our national security.
You acknowledge it was doctored.
There you go. Yeah, way to go, Swalwell.
That the United States is protected.
Madam Secretary, this is not a hard question. Are those doctored or not?
Sir,
is that actually on his hand or not?
This is unbelievable to me that you're focused.
It's unbelievable to me that you can't look at the photo and tell the American people.
I looked at the photo, but I don't have any knowledge as to this photo.
Okay, so it's been hanging out there for 4 weeks. You are one of the chief law enforcement officials in the country. What have you done to investigate whether the president misrepresented the reason that that person has been detained?
Sir,
have you done anything to try and figure out whether that was doctored or not?
The mission of the Department of Homeland Security is to secure our nation and to make sure that we're out there.
And as someone from a border state, even though that border is sort of Canada by another state, I'm from a border state. I border another Dakota.
After those that are the worst of the worst, the criminals, the bad actors, Abrego Garcia.
So the answer is you've done nothing to correct the president.
Member of MS-13, a wife beater and a human trafficker that should never have been in the.
Yeah, and Trump's an adjudicated rapist and a fraudster who's been convicted in a court of law, had all of his due process availed to him multiple times, had other cases against him slow walked throughout. What's your point?
To begin with.
So,
but we can all look at a picture of him with his head on Rambo's body and know that that's a fake fucking picture.
Terry, thank you, Mr. Burnett. 2 weeks ago, your agency deported a 4-year-old American citizen in a stage 4 cancer battle. What are you doing to get him back to the country so he can get his treatment?
Congressman, this mother wished to keep her family together and to take her child with her. So as every single person is given the opportunity to, medical care is given throughout the process.
Okay. So it sounds like
and
nothing.
For this child, medical care was confirmed in their home country so that it would continue, and those treatments and whatever needs were needed to be had into the future were confirmed to be provided there before.
That child's home country is the United States. Do you believe you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
That mother chose to keep her family together, and that is what President Trump is focused on.
That's not the facts of the case.
Yes, it is the facts.
Madam Secretary.
But I think that baby was born in the United States. This is his point. And until they get rid of birthright citizenship, kid's an American.
Confirmed that she wanted to keep her child with her, and our families and parents are given that ability to keep their children with them when they return to their home countries.
Madam Secretary, do you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
No, we do not deport U.S. citizens and have not deported U.S. citizens.
Except the 4-year-old that we just
that mother chose to keep her child with her, and that is her prerogative, and the law was followed in allowing her the opportunity to do that.
So Madam Secretary, I'm a former prosecutor.
By the way, she's getting around the deportation thing because they gave this woman a choice between being deported alone and leaving her child behind or taking her child with her when she was deported, not the option to stay with her child during the treatment process and be with her child who's an American citizen or work for citizenship because she has a child who's in these dire straits, which would just be normal asylum level stuff that you could work out. But the idea that they're going after the worst of the worst, or they're bouncing criminals, and it's really important. We're getting all these rapists and murderers and Hannibal Lecters out of the fucking country, and nothing about this woman has been presented. Like, as much as they want to shit on Abrego Garcia's record or whatever, nothing was presented about this woman other than the fact that she was here undocumented and she had a child while she was in the country.
Put people away for life sentences who are gang members. I don't need to wear costumes to show how tough I am. What makes me
zing.
from you is when I put those individuals away, I did it with the weight of the law behind me. And I yield back.
Boom. So this is going to be the answer they're going to give on each of these, is that this woman wanted to take her child because they gave her a Sophie's choice. One of these things where wherever she's going, you're either never going to see your kid again, and you'll never be able to get back into the country and see your kid again. That's what that's about. You're never going to be able, like, they wanted that kid out of the country with her, so they gave her it wasn't a choice. It was an ultimatum. That's what it was. It was not a choice. It was an ultimatum. Take your fucking kid, or we're going to keep it and you will never see it again because we're never going to let you into the country again, and he's 4 years old. That's, yeah. So, and I'm sure, yeah, somebody was saying no, she said give the child to the father. That too is like, that's why no one believes Kristi Noem. Honest to God, no, like, and why would you? There's this thing, like, if you're lying for Jesus, or you're lying as part of your intifada or your jihad or whatever, that there's a religious reason for deception in both Christianity and Islam. I'm not familiar of a version of that in Judaism, but there are specific, like, Old Testament, and technically speaking, I would argue that I guess it's Old Testament stuff, so it would be in there somewhere. But the idea is that if you have to lie to not get caught, and there's a little bit of that, I guess, in Peter's denials, that, you're going to deny him and it's a bad thing, but you're not going to burn in hell for it because you got to stay alive, right? So you're allowed to lie, whatever. But for the furtherance of these things, for the furtherance of whatever the prophecy is, the plan, you're allowed to lie on this behalf. Or if you're lying to an infidel or an outsider, it's not really a lie because they don't count until they've found Jesus, or they've accepted Muhammad, or they've converted forcibly. They don't matter as humans, technically. So you can bullshit them all you want to, which is something that I think a bunch of maggots are trying to explain to Trump right now on his trip to the Middle East, but whatever. But the point is that Kristi Noem is one of these people. Kristi Noem is one of these people who believes that you should be able to lie about, whatever you want in the furtherance of whatever the goal is that you think is your holy war. Just saying.